What if the greatest form of wealth is not having a bigger paycheck, but having the freedom to decide how you spend your time? Imagine waking up on a Monday morning without the feeling that someone else owns your schedule. Imagine choosing your work because it excites you, not because you fear missing a paycheck. Imagine knowing that your income does not depend entirely on asking permission, waiting for promotions, or hoping a company keeps you employed. For most people, wealth is measured by salary, but salary is not freedom. A high income can still come with stress, long hours, limited control, and constant dependence on someone else's decisions. True financial independence begins when your money, skills, and assets become strong enough to give you choices. This journey is not about quitting your job tomorrow or becoming rich overnight. It is about building a life where you gradually need less permission to live the way you truly want. Stay with me until the very end, because the most powerful wealth strategy may not be earning more from a boss. It may be building a future where you no longer need one. Welcome to Wealth Without a Boss. Most people are taught a simple formula: study hard, get a good job, work for decades, and hope that financial security eventually arrives. This path can provide stability, and there is nothing wrong with employment. But the problem is that many people confuse employment with independence. A job gives you income. Independence gives you options. If losing your job would immediately create a financial crisis, then your lifestyle is still dependent on that paycheck, regardless of how impressive the salary may be. The first principle of wealth without a boss is simple: reduce dependence before seeking freedom. Many people dream of leaving their job while carrying high debt, little savings, and no alternative income. That is not freedom. It is risk. Real independence is built gradually. You lower unnecessary expenses, build an emergency fund, invest consistently, and develop skills that can create income outside your primary job. Freedom grows one layer at a time. Imagine building a bridge across a river. You do not destroy the old bridge before the new one is strong enough to carry your weight. Financial independence works the same way. Your current income can become the tool that builds your future independence, rather than the trap that keeps you from it. The second principle is own something. Employees are paid for their time. Owners are paid for the value created by what they own. Ownership can take many forms. It might be investments in businesses through the stock market. It might be real estate. It might be a small business, a digital product, intellectual property, or a skill that can be sold directly to the market. The goal is not to become a billionaire. The goal is to gradually increase the percentage of your income that comes from ownership, rather than labor alone. This is where many people experience a major mindset shift. They stop asking, "How can I get a higher salary?" and begin asking, "How can I build assets that continue producing value even when I am not working?" That question is the beginning of financial independence. The third principle is protect your time. High-income employees often discover a painful truth. More money can come with less freedom. Longer hours, greater responsibility, constant availability, and higher stress can quietly consume the very life the money was supposed to improve. Wealth without freedom is simply a more comfortable form of dependency. The goal is not only to increase income, but to increase the amount of life you control. Another important principle is build multiple streams of value. Relying on a single employer creates vulnerability. If that income disappears, the entire financial structure is threatened. Independence grows when you develop additional sources of income, even small ones at first. A side business, freelance skill, investment income, content creation, consulting, or any valuable service can become the beginning of a more resilient financial life. The fifth principle is live below the income you are trying to replace. If your lifestyle requires every dollar of a large salary, freedom becomes extremely expensive. But if you can live well on significantly less than you earn, the amount of passive or alternative income needed for independence becomes much smaller. Many people focus on increasing income while ignoring the equally powerful strategy of reducing the cost of the life they need to maintain. As we begin this journey through wealth without a boss, remember one powerful truth. Financial freedom is rarely a sudden escape. It is usually a gradual transfer of power from your employer to your savings, from your paycheck to your assets, from your labor to your ownership, and from external control to personal choice. Every dollar invested, every skill developed, every unnecessary expense avoided, and every small income stream created is another brick in the foundation of a life with more freedom. Because in the end, the goal is not to stop working. The goal is to reach the point where work becomes a choice, not a necessity, and where your wealth serves your life instead of your life serving your wealth. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they start pursuing financial independence is believing that they must choose between security and freedom. They think they either keep a stable job forever or take a huge risk and hope everything works out. But wealth, without a boss, is built on a different idea. Freedom is usually created through transition, not rebellion. The smartest path is often not to jump off the cliff, but to build a staircase. Imagine a pilot preparing for a long flight. The plane is not launched into the sky without fuel, instruments, weather checks, and backup systems. Yet many people approach financial freedom emotionally. They become frustrated with their job and want immediate escape. Emotion may start the journey, but strategy must guide it. Real independence is not about running away from employment. It is about running toward ownership, stability, and control. The next principle is turn your job into an investor, not just a paycheck. Every month, your salary can either disappear into consumption or be converted into assets that gradually reduce your dependence on that salary. Think of your job as a temporary business partner whose purpose is to fund your future freedom. The moment you stop seeing your paycheck as money to spend and start seeing it as capital to deploy, your financial life begins to change. Another important shift is learning to separate identity from employment. Many people introduce themselves by their job title, and over time they begin to believe that their job is who they are. But employment is a role, not an identity. You are not only an employee. You are a potential owner, creator, investor, builder, teacher, problem solver, or entrepreneur. The more skills you develop outside your job, the less your sense of worth depends on a company's opinion of you. This leads to a powerful rule. Build skills that travel with you. A company can disappear. An industry can change. Technology can replace certain tasks, but valuable skills remain portable. Communication, sales, writing, coding, design, leadership, negotiation, marketing, and problem solving can create opportunities almost anywhere. Wealth without a boss is not only about passive income. It is also about becoming so useful that you are never trapped by a single source of income. One of the most overlooked forms of freedom is having a low financial burn rate. If your monthly expenses are extremely high, you need a large amount of income just to stay in place. But if you intentionally design a life that is meaningful without being unnecessarily expensive, freedom becomes much easier to reach. This does not mean living in deprivation. It means spending on what genuinely improves your life and cutting what only creates temporary excitement. Many people discover that the path to freedom is not maximizing income at all costs, but optimizing the relationship between income, expenses, and ownership. There is also a psychological transformation that happens along this journey. In the beginning, you worry about making enough money. Later, you focus on keeping more of what you earn. Eventually, you begin asking a completely different question. How much life am I trading for this income? That question is profound. A person earning a moderate income with control over their schedule may be experiencing more real freedom than someone earning 10 times more, while constantly stressed, unavailable to family, and unable to take time off. Wealth is not only measured in dollars, it is measured in choices, flexibility, and peace of mind. Another key principle is create systems, not dependence on yourself. If a side business requires your constant attention every hour of the day, you have simply created another boss, your own business. The goal is to build systems that can operate with less direct effort over time. This might mean automation, delegation, recurring revenue, digital products, long-term investments, or processes that continue working even when you step away. Think of it as moving through stages. Employee, income depends on your time. Self-employed, income depends on your effort. Business owner, income depends on systems. Investor, income depends on assets. You do not need to skip stages. Most financially independent people move through them gradually. Another important lesson is that freedom grows quietly. At first, it may look small. You pay off a credit card, then you build 3 months of expenses, then 6 months. Then your investments begin covering one bill. Later, they cover several bills. One day, you realize you could survive for a year without a paycheck. That moment changes your psychology completely. You negotiate differently. You think differently. You make decisions from a position of strength instead of fear. Perhaps the greatest benefit of wealth without a boss is not retirement. It is the ability to align your life with your values. You can choose meaningful work, spend more time with people you love, take care of your health, travel, learn, create, volunteer, or start projects that may never make you famous, but make your life feel deeply worthwhile. As we continue through Wealth Without a Boss, remember this: financial independence is not a destination that suddenly appears one morning. It is a gradual transfer of control over your life. Every asset you build buys back a little time. Every skill you learn creates a little leverage. Every unnecessary expense you eliminate reduces a little dependence. Every year of consistent investing increases a little freedom. And one day, you may discover that the real victory was never escaping a boss. The real victory was escaping the fear that your life could only move forward if someone else gave you permission. There is another stage on the journey to freedom that almost nobody talks about, because from the outside, it looks very ordinary. You are still working. You still have responsibilities. Your life may not look dramatically different to friends or coworkers, but internally, something has changed completely. You are no longer working from fear. You are working from choice. That change is subtle, but it is life-changing. When a person has no savings, no investments, and no alternative income, every paycheck feels like oxygen. A difficult boss becomes harder to leave. Unfair treatment becomes harder to challenge. Burnout becomes easier to tolerate. But as financial independence grows, fear loses some of its power. You begin realizing that your survival is no longer tied to a single decision made by a single employer. This is why wealth is not just economic, it is psychological. Imagine two people sitting in the same office. They earn the same salary and perform the same job. One has no savings and significant debt. The other has a year of expenses saved and growing investments. Their circumstances appear identical, but their experience is completely different. One feels trapped. The other feels flexible. The difference is not visible on the outside, but it changes every decision they make. Another important principle of Wealth Without a Boss is learning to buy back your time. In the beginning, you use time to earn money. Later, you use money to buy back time. This is one of the most profound shifts in personal finance. Many people continue sacrificing enormous amounts of time long after they no longer need to. They optimize for income while ignoring energy, health, relationships, and freedom. Wealthy people often become increasingly protective of their time because they realize that money can be earned again, but time cannot be recovered. Think about the difference between spending money to impress others and spending money to reclaim hours of your life. One creates an image, the other creates freedom. Another lesson is that freedom requires boundaries. Some people build a side business but remain available to everyone at all times. They create income but lose peace. They escape one form of dependence only to create another. Financial independence is not merely about earning from different sources. It is about designing a life that remains sustainable. A business that destroys your health, relationships, or peace of mind is not true freedom. This is why the goal is not maximum income at any cost. The goal is sufficient income with increasing control over your life. There is also a powerful connection between freedom and simplicity. The more complicated your financial life becomes, the more energy it demands. Multiple loans, unnecessary subscriptions, expensive habits, and constant upgrades create hidden obligations. Every obligation quietly claims a portion of your future income. Simplicity reduces the amount of money required to feel secure, and that dramatically accelerates independence. Many people discover that they do not need as much money as they once imagined. What they truly wanted was not luxury but peace, flexibility, meaningful work, and time with people they love. Another stage of the journey is learning to trust long-term thinking. The world rewards urgency. Financial media rewards excitement. Social media rewards dramatic results. But wealth without a boss is usually built through decisions that seem boring in the moment. Investing consistently, avoiding unnecessary debt, increasing savings gradually, building valuable skills, creating systems, staying patient during slow periods. Boring is often where freedom is built. Imagine planting a tree. For years, most of the growth happens below the surface. The roots spread quietly while nothing impressive is visible above ground. Then eventually the tree begins growing rapidly. Financial independence follows the same pattern. The invisible years are not wasted years. They are the years that make the visible results possible. Another crucial principle is never confuse income with ownership. A high-income professional who spends everything may have less freedom than a moderate-income person who owns investments, a small business, or income-producing assets. Ownership creates leverage. It allows your past effort to continue working for your future. This is why every dollar invested is more than a dollar saved. It is a tiny employee hired to work for you permanently. As your assets grow, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop measuring progress only by your paycheck. You start measuring it by how many months you could live without working. How much of your income comes from assets? How much control you have over your schedule? How much freedom you have to say no? How much peace you feel about the future? These are the real metrics of independence. And perhaps the most important realization of all is this: the goal is not to have no boss. The goal is to have no fear of needing one. You may continue working. You may even enjoy your work more than ever. But the relationship changes. Work becomes a partnership, not a dependency. You are no longer exchanging your life for survival. You are choosing how to contribute your skills and energy. As we continue through Wealth Without a Boss, remember that freedom is rarely created by one giant leap. It is created by 1,000 small acts of ownership. One investment, one skill learned, one expense avoided, one system built, 1 month of consistency, 1 year of patience. These actions may feel ordinary, but together they create something extraordinary. And one day, you may wake up and realize that the greatest luxury was never the car, the house, or the status. The greatest luxury was the ability to decide how to spend your time, whom to spend it with, and what kind of life you truly wanted to build. That is wealth without a boss. That is freedom without permission. And that is the kind of wealth that changes not only your bank account, but your entire life.